Hello, everyone. We've all heard the saying, you're your own worst enemy, but what if I told you that you could be your own greatest ally? The key isn't in trying harder or doing more, it's in learning how to work with your brain rather than against it. That's what today is all about, hacking your brain. You see, our brains are extraordinary tools, but we often operate on autopilot, ruled by habits, fears, and doubts. The truth is, you don't need a total life overhaul, you just need to shift the way you think, one small, deliberate step at a time. Breaking the autopilot cycle, taking back control. Have you ever driven somewhere and realized once you arrived that you barely remembered the journey? That's autopilot, your brain's way of conserving energy by automating repetitive tasks. While this is useful for things like brushing your teeth or tying your shoes, it can be a huge barrier when it comes to personal growth. The problem is that many of our autopilot patterns are outdated or unhelpful. We keep thinking the same thoughts, reacting the same way, and making the same choices even when they don't serve us anymore. To hack your brain and regain control, you need to wake up to these patterns and consciously disrupt them. Here's how you can start breaking the autopilot cycle. 1. Notice your patterns. The first step is awareness. Spend a day observing your thoughts and actions, especially in moments of stress or discomfort. Ask yourself, what am I doing right now and why? Am I reacting out of habit? Or is this a conscious choice? For example, do you reach for your phone the second you feel bored or uncomfortable? Do you find yourself saying yes to things you don't want to do because it's easier than saying no? Start identifying these moments. They're your autopilot at work. 2. Question the why. Once you notice a habit, dig deeper. Why do I do this? What am I trying to avoid or achieve? Often autopilot behaviors are tied to deeper fears, beliefs, or emotions. Maybe you procrastinate because you fear failure, or you overcommit because you equate busyness with self-worth. By questioning the why, you bring those hidden motivations into light. 3. Create interruptions. To break the cycle, you need to disrupt it. Start small. Change your environment, rearrange your desk, or set your phone in another room to reduce mindless scrolling. Set reminders, use alarms or sticky notes with questions like, what are you focusing on right now? Introduce a pattern breaker when you catch yourself about to react automatically. Count to 5 before acting. These interruptions force your brain out of autopilot and give you a chance to make a conscious choice. 4. Replace with intentional habits. Once you've disrupted the old habit, replace it with a new intentional one. For example, if you tend to procrastinate, commit to just 5 minutes of work instead of avoiding the task entirely. If you often say yes out of obligation, practice pausing and responding. Let me think about it instead of giving an immediate answer. Small, deliberate changes rewire your brain over time, turning conscious effort into a new, productive autopilot. 5. Reflect daily. At the end of each day, take a few moments to reflect. Where did I notice my autopilot today? What did I do to break the cycle? Celebrate your wins, no matter how small. The act of reflection strengthens your ability to recognize patterns and reinforces the belief that you can change them. Leverage the power of the pause, mastering your moment of choice. In today's fast-paced world, it's easy to feel like life is rushing at you, demanding instant decisions, instant reactions, and instant solutions. But here's the thing, you don't have to react to everything right away. In fact, the most powerful tool you have isn't speed, it's the pause. The pause is that moment of intentional stillness between stimulus and response. It's where you reclaim control, make better decisions, and redirect your energy toward what truly matters. It's a simple concept, but it's transformative when practiced consistently. Why the pause is so powerful? Your brain is wired to react quickly to perceived threats. This fight or flight response was great for survival in ancient times, but in modern life it often leads to impulsive choices, arguments, or missed opportunities. The pause interrupts this automatic reaction. It gives you time to shift from your emotional, instinctive brain to your rational, thoughtful brain. That's where clarity and intentional action live. How to practice the pause. 1. Recognize your triggers. First step to leveraging the pause is knowing when you need it most. Pay attention to situations that tend to elicit strong reactions, such as receiving critical feedback, feeling overwhelmed by a to-do list, navigating conflict or difficult conversations, experiencing self-doubt or fear. When you notice these triggers, you've already begun to create space for a pause. 2. Breathe to reset. A pause isn't just about stopping, it's about recalibrating. One of the fastest ways to reset your brain is through deep breathing. Here's a simple technique. Inhale deeply through your nose for a count of 4. Hold the breath for a count of 4. Exhale slowly through your mouth for a count of 6. Repeat this process 2 or 3 times. Breathing calms your nervous system and shifts your focus, helping you approach the situation with a clearer mind. 3. Ask grounding questions. Use the pause to ask yourself 1 or 2 grounding questions, such as, what's the outcome I want from this situation? Will my immediate reaction help or hurt me? Is this about them or is it about me? These questions help you step out of reactive mode and make a choice that aligns with your long-term goals or values. 4. Practice micro pauses. Not every pause has to be dramatic. Micro pauses throughout your day can make a huge difference. For example, before sending an email, reread it and ask, is this the tone I want to set? Before saying yes to a new commitment, pause and consider your priorities. Before responding to criticism, take a moment to breathe and decide whether to explain, apologize, or simply listen. These small moments of reflection add up, creating a calmer, more intentional approach to your day. 5. Embrace the silence. Pausing doesn't mean awkward hesitation, it means thoughtful silence. When you're in a conversation, silence can be a powerful tool. It shows you're considering what's being said and gives you time to respond meaningfully. For example, if someone challenges your ideas, instead of jumping to defend yourself, pause and say, that's an interesting perspective. Let me think about it for a moment. This not only buys you time, but also demonstrates emotional intelligence. 6. Reflect and learn. At the end of each day, reflect on the moments where you used or could have used the pause. Ask yourself, what went well because I paused? Where could I have paused and made a better choice? This practice strengthens your self-awareness and makes pausing more natural over time. Rewire with tiny actions, small steps, big change. If you've ever tried to make a big change in your life, whether it's adopting a new habit, reaching a goal, or overcoming a challenge, you've probably experienced frustration when things don't shift as quickly as you hoped. It's easy to feel like you need to make huge leaps to see results, but here's the truth: lasting transformation doesn't happen all at once. It happens through tiny, consistent actions. The beauty of tiny actions is that they don't require overwhelming effort, yet they have the power to rewire your brain and build momentum. Over time, these small actions compound, creating significant, sustainable change. Why tiny actions work. Your brain loves consistency. The more you repeat a behavior, the more automatic it becomes. By starting with tiny actions, small, manageable steps that don't feel daunting, you create a foundation for bigger changes down the road. These actions are less likely to trigger resistance, and they allow you to build positive momentum without feeling overwhelmed. Think of it like planting seeds in a garden. At first, the seeds are small and insignificant, but with regular care and attention, they eventually grow into something powerful. Tiny actions are the seeds of transformation. How to rewire with tiny actions. 1. Start small to avoid overwhelm. When you set out to change something, it's tempting to make a big, dramatic move, but more often than not, that leads to burnout or frustration. Instead, start with one small action. For example, if you want to exercise more but feel intimidated by the idea of an hour-long workout, commit to just 5 minutes of movement each day. That's a tiny action, but over time, 5 minutes can easily grow into a consistent habit and eventually longer sessions. Another example, if you want to eat healthier, instead of overhauling your entire diet overnight, start by adding 1 extra serving of vegetables to your meals every day. That tiny change, repeated daily, will set you up for more significant shifts in your eating habits. 2. Make it so easy you can't say no. Tiny actions work because they're so simple it's hard to find an excuse not to do them. When you create a task so small and easy that there's no resistance to completing it, you're more likely to follow through. For example, if you want to read more, start by reading just 1 page a day. If you want to write every day, begin with just 1 sentence. If you want to meditate, begin with 30 seconds of deep breathing. These are actions so tiny that it would be almost absurd not to do them. By making the action incredibly easy to accomplish, you remove mental barriers and build the habit in a way that feels effortless. 3. Build on your successes. As you consistently take tiny actions, you'll begin to feel a sense of accomplishment. This positive feedback loop will motivate you to build on those small successes. Let's say you've committed to 5 minutes of exercise each day for a week. As the habit begins to feel ingrained, you might naturally want to increase the duration or try new exercises. The key is to avoid forcing the change, let it happen naturally. The confidence you build from small wins creates the momentum to take on bigger challenges. 4. Celebrate every tiny win. Your brain responds positively to celebration. When you acknowledge and celebrate your tiny actions, you reinforce the behavior, signaling to your brain, this is good, do more of this. The more you celebrate the small wins, the more your brain associates the behavior with positive emotions, making it easier to continue. For example, after reading 1 page of a book, you could say to yourself, great job, or give yourself a small reward like a cup of your favorite tea. The celebration doesn't have to be grand, but it should be enough to make you feel proud and accomplished. 5. Stay consistent, not perfect. Consistency is key to rewiring your brain, but remember, perfection isn't the goal. If you miss a tiny action one day, don't give up, just pick up where you left off. For example, if you're building a habit of daily journaling but forget to write one day, don't beat yourself up. Instead, commit to writing the next day, no matter how small. The key is to stay consistent in the long run, not to expect perfection. 6. Use tiny actions to replace old habits. Tiny actions are a great way to replace habits you want to break. Instead of trying to quit something cold turkey, introduce a new tiny action that nudges you toward better behavior. For example, if you want to reduce screen time, replace 10 minutes of scrolling on your phone with 10 minutes of reading. Over time, the new behavior replaces the old one. As you consistently practice the tiny action, it rewires your brain's habits and preferences. The compound effect, how tiny actions lead to big results. The power of tiny actions lies in their ability to compound over time. At first, it might seem like these small actions aren't making a difference, but the more you repeat them, the more they become ingrained in your brain. Eventually, those tiny actions create massive shifts in your life. Imagine if you improved just 1% every day at the end of a year, you'd be 37 times better in the areas that matter most to you. That's the compound effect in action. Small, daily improvements lead to extraordinary results. Flip the script on fear, turning anxiety into power. Fear is a natural part of the human experience. It's our brain's built-in defense mechanism to keep us safe from danger. But in modern life, fear often shows up in places where it doesn't serve us, like before speaking up at a meeting, trying something new, or pursuing a big goal. Instead of being a signal to protect us, fear can become a barrier that holds us back. What if you could flip the script on fear? What if instead of seeing fear as something to avoid, you saw it as a sign that you're on the edge of growth? This shift in perspective can be a game changer. Instead of letting fear control you, you can start using it as a source of power. Why fear holds you back? Fear triggers a physiological response in your body. Your heart races, your palms sweat, and your mind fills with worst-case scenarios. This fight or flight response is your brain's way of preparing you to either face the danger or run from it. In ancient times, this was crucial for survival. In today's world, however, the dangers that trigger fear aren't always life-threatening. Public speaking, meeting new people, or starting a business aren't dangerous in the same way that facing a predator is. Yet your brain responds in the same way, causing you to hesitate, second guess, or avoid these situations entirely. How to flip the script on fear. 1. Reframe fear as excitement. The physical symptoms of fear, racing heart, butterflies in your stomach, heightened alertness are nearly identical to the feelings of excitement. So, the next time you feel fear creeping in, try this. Tell yourself, I'm not scared, I'm excited. This simple reframe shifts your perspective. Instead of seeing fear as a barrier, you begin to see it as a sign that you're about to do something important, something that's pushing you outside your comfort zone. Your brain starts to associate fear with excitement, not danger, which helps you approach challenges with more confidence and curiosity. 2. Focus on the process, not the outcome. Fear often arises when we focus on the potential negative outcome of a situation. What if I fail? What if they judge me? What if I don't succeed? These questions keep you stuck in a loop of fear and self-doubt. To flip the script on fear, shift your focus from the outcome to the process. Instead of obsessing over how things will turn out, focus on what you can control in the present moment. Ask yourself, what's the next step I can take? What action can I take today that will move me forward no matter what happens next? By concentrating on the small, actionable steps in front of you, you remove the pressure of needing everything to go perfectly. This allows you to take action despite the fear, and over time, the fear begins to lose its grip. 3. Use fear as fuel. Instead of trying to eliminate fear, use it as fuel to propel you forward. Fear is a signal that something important is on the other side of it. When you feel fear, ask yourself, What is this fear telling me? What opportunity or growth is on the other side of this discomfort? Fear often arises when you're about to take a risk or step into the unknown. Instead of backing down, use the energy of fear to move forward with greater intention and purpose. It's your body telling you that you're about to expand, so use it to drive you. 4, normalize fear. One of the reasons fear can be so paralyzing is because we believe we're the only ones who experience it. But the truth is, everyone feels fear. Even the most successful, confident people you admire have faced their own fears. Recognizing that fear is universal can help take the pressure off. It's not something to avoid, it's a natural part of growth. When you accept that fear is inevitable, you can move through it with more grace and less resistance. In fact, the more you expose yourself to fear in small doses, the easier it becomes to navigate it. Whether it's speaking in public, asking for what you want, or taking a leap of faith in your career, each time you face your fear head-on, it becomes less intimidating. 5, embrace failure as part of the journey. One of the biggest sources of fear is the fear of failure. We're afraid that if we fail, it means we're not good enough or capable. But the truth is, failure is often the best teacher. When you flip the script on fear, you start to see failure not as something to avoid, but as an essential part of the journey. Failure is feedback. It's an opportunity to learn, adjust, and grow. Each failure brings you one step closer to success. Instead of avoiding failure, embrace it as a stepping stone toward your ultimate goal. When you remove the fear of failure, you're free to take more risks and experiment, which is when true growth happens. 6, create a fear action plan. Sometimes fear can feel overwhelming and you may freeze in the face of it. To flip the script, create a fear action plan. This is a simple strategy that helps you move from fear to action. Here's how to create one. Step 1, identify the fear. What specifically are you afraid of? Step 2, ask yourself, what's the worst case scenario? Write it down. Often we fear things that are unlikely to happen. Step 3, identify the first small action you can take to move through the fear. It could be sending an email, having a difficult conversation, or making a phone call. Step 4, take that action. Don't wait for the fear to disappear, move through it. By having a clear plan of action, you give yourself the tools to move forward despite the fear. The power of flipping the script. Flipping the script on fear doesn't mean eliminating it completely. Fear will always be there, it's hardwired into our biology, but when you learn to see fear as a signal for growth, excitement, and opportunity, you change your relationship with it. The next time you face fear, pause and recognize it for what it is, an invitation to step outside your comfort zone and unlock a new level of potential. Instead of retreating from it, lean into it and take action. Remember, fear isn't the enemy, it's a sign that you're about to do something that will stretch you, challenge you, and ultimately help you grow. Embrace it, flip the script, and use fear as the fuel that propels you toward your next great achievement. Use visualization to prime your mind, creating a mental blueprint for success. Visualization is a powerful tool that elite athletes, top performers, and successful individuals across various fields have used to achieve their goals. But it's not just about imagining success, it's about actively priming your mind to align your thoughts, emotions, and actions with your desired outcomes. When you visualize, you create a mental image of success before it even happens, helping your brain to focus, stay motivated, and make decisions that bring you closer to your goals. Visualization is more than daydreaming, it's a strategic mental practice that strengthens your belief in what's possible and prepares you to take action with confidence. Why visualization works. Your brain doesn't differentiate between a vividly imagined experience and a real one. Neuroscientific research has shown that When you vividly imagine doing something, your brain fires the same neurons as it would if you were actually doing it. This process is called neural priming, and it's a way to program your brain for success. When you visualize your goals, your brain forms neural pathways that make your desired outcome feel more familiar, attainable, and real. The more you practice visualization, the more these pathways strengthen, making it easier for you to take inspired action in the real world. How to use visualization to prime your mind for success. 1. Create a clear mental image of your goal. Visualization works best when you have a clear and specific goal in mind. Whether it's a career milestone, a personal goal, or a performance objective, the more specific you are, the more powerful your visualization will be. Take a moment to imagine what achieving your goal would look like in great detail. Picture the environment, the people involved, and the emotions you would experience. If your goal is to give a successful presentation, imagine walking into the room with confidence, speaking clearly, and engaging with your audience. See yourself feeling calm, composed, and proud. The more detailed and sensory-rich your visualization, the more real it becomes to your brain. 2. Engage all your senses. Visualization isn't just about seeing a mental image, it's about immersing yourself in the experience. Engage all your senses to make the visualization as vivid as possible. For example, sight, imagine the colors, the shapes, and the surroundings. What does your ideal situation look like? Sound, what are the sounds around you? Do you hear applause, encouraging words, or the hum of a successful conversation? Feel what sensations do you experience? The weight of a microphone, the warmth of a handshake, or the satisfaction of completing a task? Emotion. How do you feel? Are you proud, grateful, excited, or fulfilled? The more senses you involve, the more deeply embedded the visualization will become in your mind, and the more real and attainable your goal will feel. 3. Visualize the process, not just the outcome. Many people focus solely on the end result, but the real power of visualization lies in imagining the process, the steps you'll take along the way to achieving your goal. Instead of just seeing yourself on the stage, visualize yourself preparing for the speech, doing the research, practicing in front of a mirror, and feeling the growth and progress you're making. By focusing on the journey, you prime your brain to embrace the work, the challenges, and the learning process. For example, if your goal is to lose weight, visualize not just the moment you reach your target weight, but also the small, positive decisions you make every day. See yourself choosing healthy foods, going for a walk, and celebrating your progress along the way. Visualizing the process helps reduce feelings of overwhelm and ensures you stay on track. 4. Visualize yourself overcoming challenges. Visualization isn't just about imagining success, it's also about preparing for the obstacles and challenges you might face. When you visualize yourself overcoming difficulties, your brain builds the resilience and determination needed to push through them in real life. For example, if you're preparing for a tough conversation or a high-pressure situation, imagine how you will handle it calmly. See yourself staying composed, breathing through the discomfort, and responding with clarity. By mentally rehearsing challenges and solutions, you condition your brain to remain focused and confident when the actual situation arises. 5. Use positive emotions to enhance your visualization. Your emotions play a huge role in how effective your visualization is. When you visualize with positive emotions such as excitement, pride, or gratitude, you create a powerful magnetic force that draws your goals closer. When you visualize success, feel the joy, the relief, or the excitement that comes with achieving your goal. These emotions not only make your visualization more real, but also act as a motivational force, pushing you to take action in the real world. For instance, After visualizing a successful meeting, feel the satisfaction of knowing you've performed well and made an impact. Feel proud of the effort you put in and the progress you made. The stronger the emotion, the more your mind will align with the belief that success is inevitable. 6. Practice regularly for maximum impact. Like any skill, visualization improves with practice. The more frequently you visualize, the stronger the neural pathways become, and the more natural it will feel to take action. Set aside a few minutes each day to visualize your goals. You can do this first thing in the morning to set a positive tone for the day, or right before bed to reinforce your commitment to your goals. Consistency is key. Over time, your visualizations will become more vivid, your confidence will grow, and you'll begin to notice real-world changes as a result of this mental priming. Power of visualization in daily life. Visualization isn't just for athletes or performers, it's a tool you can use in every aspect of your life. Whether you're preparing for a big presentation, trying to break a bad habit, or working toward a personal goal, visualization can help prime your mind for success.